In this video, I will be installing the head on a 2010 Toyota Prius 2ZR-FXE engine. I will be showing all details in case you have had yours apart for a while and forgotten where some of the things go. I prefer the gasket set that comes with the new head bolts. And when you see me torquing these head bolts and the abuse that they go through in order to be torqued, you probably understand why I like to do that. There's a link to everything I use in the description of the video, parts and tools. That way you don't have to hunt for what it is that I'm using, or even ask me in the comments. But I do appreciate comments though, so if you think of something else you can comment about, then that would be appreciated. Like all the comments that I could get. Like, for one thing, you prefer to get the set with the bolts in it? And do you use a whiz wheel for cleaning your gasket surfaces like I do? Oh, and I cleaned these intake ports by hand, and look how good they turned out. Wow, isn't that so much better than what they looked like before? I'm also doing a video on how to clean the intake and the EGR valve, and it's not much use in cleaning the intake if you don't clean these intake ports and your intake valves. And these come in a nice organized box, but they do not come with the washers, so I hope you saved your washers. I know I did. Make sure you put a washer on every bolt that you put in here. I like to put a tiny bit of spray lube, oil, assembly lube, assembly gel, something on the threads of the head bolts before I go to put them in. I don't have any scientific evidence to back it up, but I just feel like a little bit of lube on the threads like that makes the bolts torque down more evenly, more consistently from one bolt to another. But you don't have one dragging more than the other because they're all got the same amount of the same type of lube on the threads. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but I am putting the original washer on every bolt before I put it in. So make sure you don't forget to put the original washers back on there. Oh, and if you haven't already, make sure you check that before you put the head on. Make sure you check that you have both dowel pins. If you don't, you probably notice because one end of the head or the other will be wandering around and hard to get lined up with a missing dowel pin. But you need both those dowel pins. There's almost always two on every job, two dowel pins. Whether it be installing a head, installing a transmission, whatever. I have these 12-point torque spit things from back in my Volkswagen days. And they just happen to be the same size. And I happen to have two different ones of them because, you know, I had part of a set. This one was an individual from Snap-on. And then I bought this whole set of different sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to start out with 36 foot-pounds. Alright, I'm sorry, but I know it's newer and I know it's probably better, but I'm having trust issues with that click-top torque wrench. And this is what I'm used to and what I have decades of experience with. So I just like to be able to see and feel my old school torque wrench. I like to see how much torque I'm coming up on as I come up on it. Not unknown, 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 and then suddenly, bam, there it is. There we go. case you don't remember, I'm doing 36 foot-pounds. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7. And this is number 8 over here. And it's that bad with lube. Just imagine how bad it would be if I hadn't put any oil on the threads. Okay, that's good. And 10. It's right there. All right, let's double check them. Make sure they're all still at 36. Going in the same pattern. Ah, there we go. Got a little bit more out of that one. And that one. And that one. Well, that's always good to go over them again. We're still just doing 36. All right, now the fun part begins. Woo! Let's get a breaker bar. All right, I'm putting a mark on each cylinder head bolt and a spot on the head corresponding with that mark. This will make sense in a minute. These in the front, I'm lining up with the web right there. All right, they've all got a mark. Now I'm throwing tools in the floor. Whew. Alright, just going to get a little back braking. Need to tighten each one of them in the same sequence. But we're first going to tighten them 90 degrees. Then we're going to go another 45 degrees. Whew. Okay, 90 degrees. I'm going to go from here to approximately here. Okay, it's about 90, and the mark looks like it moved about 90, maybe a teeny bit more. The mark really does help. You look at that mark, I'm thinking these are exactly the same size, but this one seems to fit a little bit tighter than this one. This one I bought years before I bought this one, and this one's got quite a bit more wear on it. So even though it's a nice snap-on, I'm going back to the other one that's part of my set that I bought. They're both really old, but this one just a lot tighter. All right. Bolt number 3, 90 degrees. Okay. Bolt number 4, 90 degrees. There we go. Bolt number 5, 90 degrees. Yeah. There we go. Bolt number 6, 90 degrees. Oh yeah. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Oh. Number 10. Woo, we're getting somewhere now. I got one more pass left. One more pass. That's 45 degrees. We want to end up with a total of 135 degrees. And since we marked the bolts, I'll be able to double check. Whew. All right, guys. 45. Right about there. Right about there. There's number 2. Comes number 3. Number 4. Number 5. See why I wanted to put brand new bolts in it? There's old bolts. I've already been through all this. I think a bolt, you'll only have to go through this once in its lifetime. There we go. Number 9. 45 degrees. There we go. And number 10. Here we go. Number 10. Woo! Oh, yeah. Look at that. It is torqued, my friends. It is torqued. Now for the flyover. Make sure you've got a really good look at which ones are which. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And the torque is, I did 20 foot-pounds, then 36 foot-pounds, then 90 degrees, then 45 degrees, for a total of 135 degrees after the 36 foot-pounds. First, make sure you get some Loctite on these studs, because you don't want these studs to be getting corroded in the head. And one of the reasons I'm using the Ryobi is because the Milwaukee is just way too powerful. You don't want to break something off in the head, and the Milwaukee is powerful enough to break stuff off in the head. Now, of course, this is good to use too. Just a regular hand ratchet, no problem. Now I'm going to give you a better view before I start putting things together. You notice I've got a mirror right here because, you know, I don't have eyeballs on the tips of my fingers. Now, like I said, taking it apart, it's easier than putting it together. One of the reasons is because once you get all the nuts and studs out, then the gasket just falls out. And which means that the new gasket is also going to try to fall out. And I'm still mostly feeling back here. Because I can kind of see through my mirror. I can see the manifold, but I can't see what I'm doing with the gasket. Gotta get a stud here. Do I even have it right side up? Okay. Yeah, looks like it's right side up. Well, I had it in there right side up. And then I pulled it out, or I think I did. Let's see, where's the holes? Nope, I had it upside down. Train monkey at work. Oh. Monkey install gasket. Grease monkey like tools. Grease monkey like shiny tools. Grease monkey like play with shiny tools. Okay. Grease monkey could make lots more money trading stocks, but shiny tools are more fun. Okay. Okay guys, am I anywhere near the right spot? Because it doesn't seem like it. Oh. Got to get a better look at this. Alright, I'm having no luck getting the two studs in the ends. So let's try doing it. Maybe the two studs at the top. See what I mean by it dropping out of there? It just has no problem dropping out of there. Falling right out. Getting it to go in, now that is a different story. Used to be able to do these things by feel better, but I've got so many calluses on my fingers now. I can't feel as good as I used to. But I think I'm making some progress. Alright, now let's double check that by wiggling it back and forth. Better look at it with the light. See if I've got any holes clogged up. Looks like I can put another stud in here. Okay. That one started. And remember, just like any other set of bolts, nuts, or studs, get them all started before you tighten any of them. But you need to be able to move stuff around while you're getting stuff started. There's the, okay, there's where the last stud goes. So I can only see so much in this mirror, and you may be able to see what I'm trying to do here, but I can't see what I'm trying to do. I'm just feeling in the dark. I'm looking at this with my mind's eye. And now I've got the runners in my way. It's really difficult to turn this. I don't want to use the socket to start it, because then that would be a nightmare if we messed up the threads on any one of these. Oh yes, it started. It started. Woo! Oh, thank goodness. Okay, what y'all missed was I knocked this E8 down into the engine bay while I was putting those studs in. And I'd like to never found it. And it's the only one I've got. So, when was the last time you did something like that on a project? Comment below. Woo! It ain't easy being greasy. That makes this go so much faster. Alright, now I gotta get the nuts on here, get them started good. In case you were wondering, that's the Ryobi 344 that I'm using. And there is a link in the description of everything I use in every video that I make. Well, most everything I use. There are some things that I just can't find a link to. Every once in a while, I get something at some place like Harbor Freight, which has a lot of junk, but they also have a few good things as well. And I'll just tell you, you know, if it's a Harbor Freight thing and it's good, I'll just tell you, just go to Harbor Freight and get it. But this Ryobi 344 is not nearly as powerful as the Milwaukee, but it's like half or a third of the price. I think it's closer to half of the price. But in situations like this, its lack of power is a real asset, because I don't have to worry about over torquing the crap out of these things or breaking anything, because it's just going to snug them up. And I can go back over them with a torque wrench or a hand wrench. I meant to say a torque wrench or a hand ratchet. I need to get a 6-point. Well, I hope you're still here watching this video, because you need to know that that 1/2 inch only ran them down there, but it's no good for tightening them, because these are actually 12mm. I had the wrong socket. I'm gonna have to get a little bit of an extension to tighten that one. There's a 3-inch extension, makes it just enough to get past that runner. Tighten these down now. I'm going to go over them one more time and give the last final torque on these from the middle to the out. Alright, that ought to be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't get all of them. Gonna make a Prius omelet, you're gonna have to crack some Prius eggs. But wait, if you back now, there's more. Now Toyota has designed this to use RTV silicone here as a sealer, and normally I have no problem with that. But this has oil feed holes here and here and here, and traditionally I don't use RTV around anything that has pressure. Make sure you have both dowel pins in place. Okay, with these cams set the way they're supposed to be, these lobes sticking up 45 and 45, you've got these cam lobes sticking down, and these cam lobes mostly down. So it's kind of sitting on these rocker arms right here, and you need to look at all the rocker arms and double check them to make sure none of them got knocked over or turned or anything, and then start spinning your bolts down by hand. Make sure they'll all start. This is not the proper tightening sequence yet. We'll get to that in a minute. This is just getting them started. There's another bolt goes right here. And it's shorter than the others. Pounds, and let's bring these down a little at a time evenly. Grease monkey like banana, grease monkey not like broken bolts. No Magilla gorilla allowed in shop. Ape on stock buy okay, no ape on bolts. Can you see that mark? It's pointing at the link, and it is different from that one that looks kind of like an I-beam. There are like 3 of these slashes on the cam phaser, and they are wrong except for this one. There's only one that goes that close to the chain. See that extra slash all the way in there? It faces the 2 or the double link mark. There's 2 links marked here. And then, like we established on the table, you're going to go 25 unmarked links down the right side till you get to the marked link on the chain, and put that marked link right there where the divot is on the crank gear. Right there it is. Can you see it? There's a mark right there on the crank gear, a divot looking mark on the crank gear, and it's right beside that tooth, and that tooth goes right into that marked link. Another thing you might want to note while you have the chance watching this video is that this, just to the right of this keyway, see, is a gear tooth, and that's, you count it as 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 6th tooth going clockwise from this keyway should have the divot on it. And if you're doing the timing chain, there are 2 O-rings opposite of here in the engine block, And a third O-ring right here could be a disaster. If those fall out, you don't notice it and you don't replace them. When you put the oil filter housing back on, there's going to be O-rings here and here. And when you go to put your valve cover on, there'll be an O-ring here. And this funny surprise face O-ring right there. In case you're having trouble figuring out the timing chain tensioner, push down right here and push that in at the same time. Careful not to squirt yourself in the face with it. There's a little hook you want to pull around here. Come on, come on. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Success. Remember, when things get hard, don't give up. Be a victor, not a victim. Timing chain cover install. But first I want to give you a couple tips here. Little Vaseline or petroleum jelly. If you hadn't already, go ahead and change your seal, your crank seal, and make sure that this part of the seal faces to the inside and the flat part faces out. But you want to put a little bit of Vaseline on that to lube it so when it first spins, it doesn't cut up your seal or tug on it and take some life away from it. The first two O-rings go here and here. The third one goes down here. Only 4 of the bolts have 14mm heads, and it's pretty obvious where they go. Then you have all these other bolts with 12mm heads, and let's just eliminate some of these. With a little over 1 1/4 inch, maybe 1 3/8 reach from the bottom of the head to the tip of the bolt, we have quite a few, and those do go in the timing chain cover. These shorter ones right here with 1 1/8 inch reach, those 3 go into the water pump. And then these quite a bit longer ones with a 2 1/8 reach also go in the water pump. So there's 2 of those for the water pump and 3 of the shorter ones for the water pump. And the medium-sized ones are for your timing chain cover. And we always have one weirdo in the crowd. No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about this guy right here with a 10mm head. And if you're not going to be able to see this once I get it down in the car because I can't get the camera in there, but this guy goes right here. See, just above the crank. Then later, after the timing cover installed, you're going to have some bolts that go in with the engine mount bracket. And back in the day, we used to call these magic markers, because if you put them just right and said the magic word, insane, they would just magically mark the spots where the mount bolts need to go. There are 6 spots on the 1.8 liter 2ZR that need a little extra gasket material. Here, here, and here, where these joints are, and the corresponding spaces in the back, which are really hard to see on the camera. I'm not sure you can see them at all, except maybe this one across from the crank. So there's one in the back and one in the front, across from where the crank is. The 2 front and back where the head meets the block, and the 2 front and back where the cam carrier meets the head. Another reason I have this petroleum jelly is I use it as an assembly aid or assembly lube. Put it right here where the O-rings go to hold those O-rings into place. Kind of got to be double jointed to do this. All right. Make sure you get the O-ring all the way down in that groove, because any little bit of that O-ring sticking up out of that groove could get pinched and cut off, and then you're missing a part of the O-ring once it's cut off, and that's going to be just as bad as not putting an O-ring in at all. When you're looking at the engine and you're putting the O-ring that goes down here, let me be clear, you don't stick it in right here on the cover and expect it to stay. There's a groove in the engine, and you stick it down in the groove in the engine. It's just really hard to get the camera down there to show you. But what I can show you is that the space where it goes is so very close to the sealing surface that you have to be careful not to get any of your assembly lube or petroleum jelly, whatever you're using, on the gasket surface, because then your gasket material is not going to stick to it. anything I do in my videos. Don't do anything I talk about in my videos. You could end up bruising, bleeding just like me. Or you can tear stuff up. Even I tear stuff up sometimes still. The only safe way to do anything like this is just to pay somebody to do it. Can you see that pipe cleaner sticking out down in there? And this set comes with steel and brass. I'm using the brass because it's just a plastic intake. It's a little like gun cleaning, but I don't believe I've ever had a rifle that was this nasty. Okay, if you've gotten this far with the head gasket job, I'm fairly certain you're not going to have any trouble with the windshield wipers, the cowl and all that, the air cleaner and the snorkel. But I want to give you a little look at the wire connectors. I want to give you a good look at the wire connectors just in case you get confused on some of those. Of course, had the wiring harness laid over here, and when you throw the wiring harness back over on the engine, there's a really long piece that goes across here and goes down into here and back in the very back. And you can see it hooks up to the oil pressure sending unit, the oxygen sensor, and a NOx sensor. Then that comes up and hooks to the servo for the cam phaser. And then, of course, cylinder number 1 ignition coil, cylinder number 2 ignition coil, and it goes black, gray to 3 and 4. Then you're back over here again. Make sure you get this one connected up and your cam speed sensor. Then the EGR valve. Then this comes along here and you've got a bolt here. You also have the bolt for the air box, but this bolt holds the wiring harness against the valve cover. Then you have another bolt for the ground, which is a double ground, another double ground, and a third ground that's not double. And this wire might be hard to find because it's pretty long and it could have got laid over anywhere in here. Make sure you find it and pin it up here. Make sure it's clean too. All right, then you're gonna have, again, black, gray for your injectors. And they're short enough to be dummy proof, similar to what you have here, but these are long enough to where you could swap the black with the gray. But as long as you know this, number 1 is black, number 2 is gray, and you're not going to be able to mix these two up with these two because they're not long enough to mix up. All right, you've got some more down here, which you can't see at this point, but obviously you have one that connects to the electric water pump that won't connect to anything else. Another one that you've got disconnected from the air conditioner compressor that won't connect to anything else. The other one is low voltage, one's high voltage. One of them you had apart, and one you had disconnected, and one you do not. So just connect back up the one you had disconnected. There's also something on the front of the engine. It looks akin to a NOx sensor. I don't remember which it was at this point. Don't forget this one. This one's easy to forget. This is the MAF sensor, and it has to be hooked up. It's not very long. It's difficult. You got to be putting the box in, or the box cover on, while you connect it up. There's also one down there for the throttle body. You see that little wire? That's part of that goes into the connector for the throttle body. Then there's another connector over here on the other side of the throttle body. You've got that hose right there that goes over to this electronic switch, which goes up here to this pipe. We've got this hose, this little hose, goes over and goes, just to double check and make sure I'm telling you right, that right here, yep, it goes all the way around right here and to this pipe. You see it right there? That is the same hose as this one right here. Okay, I'll put it back in that little slot where it goes on the intake. That's its little bracket holder. All right, now this one right here, you can see it wiggling around, and it goes over here to the head. It's into the head right there. It's got that other little clamp on it. Now this right here goes over to the PCV valve. Let me show you that hose. It's laying right here, this big end, which happens to be cracked, so I ordered another one. I'm waiting for it. This goes over, and that is the end that goes to the PCV valve. See it there? It's when you're putting the air cleaner and stuff back on, you're gonna have this one hose that goes to the valve cover and comes over here and goes into this elbow. And this goes right here directly to the throttle body. And just so you know, any leak in any of these joints or any of these hoses here will give you the same kind of code as you get for a bad MAF sensor, and the engine either won't run or will run really badly or run just long enough for you to get somewhere where you're stuck on the side of the road. The MAF sensor is here, so anything that connects here, any of these joints, any of those hoses, anywhere between here and the throttle body have got to be sealed off 100% perfect. That doesn't mean to over clamp or over tighten them. I do take Scotch-Brite and clean this up when I'm cleaning the throttle body, and I do put a little bit of petroleum jelly, Vaseline. I got a little paintbrush that I use with it so I can paint it on the surfaces. That does help a little bit with the sealing. You can see how dry these get right here. I don't put it on any of these hoses before I put them on. I just make sure those are nice and clean and dry, and make sure there's clamps on them. And if any of these feel hard and brittle, they're probably not going to seal off real good, and it's good to replace them. Also, any little cracks like that right there, it definitely needs to be replaced. And cracks can hide down in there. And don't forget to plug in your MAF sensor all the way in till it clicks. And in case you didn't notice, this pipe, as it goes along here, it pins under here with this bolt. And there was one more bolt over here for the EGR heat exchanger. And when you complete a job like this, don't forget to plug your batteries back in. And when you plug this back in, well, I'm not going to do it now because I've got the dash all apart. But don't forget to, once you've put this in and turned it, to push this all the way to the passenger side to engage it. Otherwise, you're going to have a triangle of doom. I've also got quite a few things underway on the Corvette, and I am filming it for you guys, so don't worry. There'll be lots of Corvette videos and tool reviews. So till the next video, get off the couch, put your tool in something dirty. Hey, if you like this video, we got a whole lot more. We've got tool reviews, we've got repair videos, we've got show car videos, hot rods, mod rods, you name it. If it's got wheels on it and an engine, it's probably on this channel. So subscribe, like, and binge watch Sane Auto. Binge watch Sane Auto.